But you were saying that you have these kind of conversations all the time with people.
Yeah. I have them at work, with my friends, all the time. Yeah. I feel like I'm always trying to like pass that on, right? Because, I mean, to get the conversation started, on New Year's Eve, I was at home. I was just showing a lot of gratitude. I was very grateful for a lot of things that I had in my life at that particular time, which was just a few days ago, obviously. Yeah. And at that moment, I was thinking about the real estate, and I was thinking, man, like how much I know now versus what I knew when I met you about 2-3 years ago. Like I would have loved for somebody who was in my position today to pass on all that knowledge. And I was like, oh damn, I gotta go see Abel. So that's how it came about, right? Because sick, I think when we spoke the first time regarding this, I was kind of like, I'm still trying to get my feet wet. I'm still trying to figure this out. I was trying to juggle the first house and everything at the same time. I didn't know how to like multitask at that particular time because it was just stressing me out that much. Yeah. And then, like a full circle moment.
That's dope, man. Here. That's dope, man.
Right.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
So let's go back, man. Like what sparked something in you to look into real estate investing? What got you started in this journey in the first place?
The first thing I did was about, I think this must have been like 7-8 years ago. I went to a orientation, a Fortune Builders one. I don't know if you've ever heard of this with Than Merrill.
Yeah.
I went with one of my friends, which you've met. I went in there and I'm just looking for something different. I'm trying to figure out, this whole passive income thing, financial freedom. I'm starting to hear about this.
But it wasn't related to real estate when you were thinking about it? You were just thinking about passive income in general?
Yeah.
And then you were like, let me go to this.
I don't think at that particular moment I was thinking like, how do I get into real estate? Yeah. It's just more like, all right, I recently like graduated from my master's program. I got like my first like official like career. So I'm in this whole rat race thing a bit, right? Like clocking in every day. And I'm just like, man, there gotta be more to life than this. Cause my whole thing was, all right, so I'm like 25 and my retirement is at 62. So I'm doing this for another.
Doing the math. Like,
I'm doing this right here for another 30 something years, which, I got love for my job. Yeah. I love the people I work with. They know that. I love the kids, everything.
Not that much.
But 30 something years is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no. There has to be another way. So whatever. I go to this orientation and I'm sitting there and then they're selling my boy and I on this membership program thing and they're asking for $50,000, which I'm just like, man. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, $50,000? I'm like, I don't got anywhere close to $50,000. But I was able to take something away from that, which was they took us outside the room and, they're doing their whole sales pitch and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, go into your credit cards and start asking for credit card increases. Like, use your credit card. So I'm like, wait, what? Like, at that particular moment, I'm on some, like, I'm using my credit card how everyone else uses their credit cards. But they started planting that seed in my head about using good debt versus bad debt, essentially. Like, okay, so I can use my credit cards to essentially, like, get into some sort of investment, even though I don't actually have my own cash. Which I wasn't going to do $50,000, but at that particular moment, like, I asked for the credit card increase, and right there, like, I got, like, an extra, like, $3,000, $2,000.
Just like that.
So I'm like, I've been looking at this all wrong. Like, a credit card is a tool, right? It's not like a voucher for you to just go out and splurge.
Right.
It's for you to do something productive with it.
How much did you pay for that? Like, for that seminar, for that,
no, it was
that
free.
event?
It was free.
So it was like the free event with the upsell for the membership, the mastermind.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Okay,
and they wanted $50,000. And then
gotcha.
Whatever, from that moment, I pulled, the whole good debt versus bad debt thing. I'm like, all right. Then now I'm really researching this kind of stuff. And now I'm on social media. Now there's all that's coming up on my algorithm. Now nothing else comes up on my algorithm other than Rich Dad Poor Dad. How do I get out the rat race? Whatever. So I ran into this Airbnb thing about rental arbitrage because my whole thing was I don't have money like that at the time. So I'm like, how do I get in with as little capital as possible? So I did that. I did the whole rental arbitrage. You sublease or whatever. sublease a lease. Quite frankly, it went pretty well. What screwed me up was the fact that COVID hit.
Wow.
Yeah, so COVID knocked everything down. So I had to stop doing that. We had the apartment for about a year or so. But just recently, I still have like my host account on Airbnb.
Yeah.
And I was only in the red about like $4,000 or so. So I'm like, not even that went that bad.
Yeah.
All considering COVID. Because
when you say you were in the red, you're considering what? Like vacancy, like the initial investment for what? Was it
I'm not the furniture and stuff, I'm not really considering that because I was able to sell that forward. So I was able to recuperate a lot of that money. I'm talking specifically about how much money came in from the revenue of the guests versus my lease every month.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, this wasn't even that bad, which to that point is like, which will lead me to now what I'm doing currently is just the first time is never going to go perfect, but you have to take it as a learning experience.
Yeah.
So then that was like 2019, 2020. Now I'm having this paralysis from analysis thing. I'm still, in my head, like, all right, so what am I going to do next? Like I did this, I felt like I learned from it, but now I felt like it wasn't the right time because COVID, COVID is still around. The travel thing is still up in the air or whatever. And then that's when you and I connected. And then I came in 23 and I'm like, all right, so like I want to get into real estate, but I don't exactly know how. And I think as I was speaking to you in that particular moment and backtrack to the whole, I wanted to get into this with at least capital as possible. It was almost as if you were coaching me without you even knowing, because I'm talking out loud and I'm hearing things. And then I'm thinking about all these ways to get into real estate. And then I run into the BRRRR method. The BRRRR method, which we can talk a little bit more about that later, right? The idea that you buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. So if it all goes well, you essentially come out and you didn't leave a dime in the deal, or you even made money. So then you connected me with a company out in Columbus, and this guy was like heaven sent. He literally just sent me an Excel sheet with his entire network. He was like, here, have everyone. Yeah. Here are my contractors. Here's my HVAC guy. Here's my drywall. Here's my plumbing. Here's my property management. Wow. So I'm like,
you got the manual from day one, man.
I was like, well, that's it. There's no going back now.
Yeah.
And then essentially that's where it all started.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And it's so cool too because I feel like one of the first pieces of advice that people get when they're getting started is like build a team. Find someone or find a group of people that that can handle most aspects, if not all aspects of a deal. So it's like in meeting like one or two people, you got a whole list of pretty much everything that you're gonna need. Or obviously things happen, but at least to get you started, like you said, like all right, there's no going back at this point. That's crazy. So tell me about the first deal, man. How did that go?
Oh my goodness. So I mean, looking back on it now, I can laugh on a lot of things that happened, but yeah, it was a shit show to be completely honest. I think at the end of it all, if most people would look at the numbers, they'd say I take that, right? But now in comparison to the second deal and the third deal, I'm like, oh yeah, like there were so many things that went wrong. I got the property. Property value.
Was it on market, off market?
It was off market.
Okay.
Good question. So 81,000, right? 81,000. And then the rehab was like 44 and change. I used a hard money lender, right? So the hard money lender, this particular one, right, either gives you 75% of the ARV or 90% of the property plus the rehab, whichever is less, right? Then I cover the remaining, which is the down payment, exclusive of the closing. So first mistake I did, to get started with all the mistakes, was that I understood that they were going to give me 90% of the...
Purchase plus renovation?
Yeah, no, so that's what they gave me, the purchase price plus renovation. But I thought I only essentially had to put 10% of the property value. And they were going to give me 90% of the property value plus the rehab. Like I wasn't comprehending the language. So in this... using these numbers, I thought I had to put $8,100.
I see.
Which is 10% of the property value plus the closing, which was not the case, which I had to put more money, right? So there I had to come up with some money or whatever. Then fine. We jump over that hurdle. Once I get the property, now I'm having trouble getting the keys. So I'm waiting a day, 2 days, 3 days. Time is money, right? So at some point I'm getting a bit frustrated. I'm like, where are these keys? So.
And you were over there at the time? You were in Columbus, or you were here?
No. I had never gone to Columbus yet.
All of it.
This was all over my phone and all over my MacBook.
Oh man.
So, so then they tell me that the property is occupied. So I bought the property not knowing that somebody was living there. So now I'm like, what on earth am I gonna do? Yeah. So then eventually, fast forwarding through the story a bit, we did the whole cash for keys thing. Right, these weren't.
Was it a tenant or a squatter?
No, it was a tenant.
It was a tenant. Okay.
So at first I'm like, how did this even happen? Yeah. Like, how does this happen? And then they just explain to me like this is the game you're playing. This is the off-market deal. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the dark side. I'm like, all right, okay. So we do the cash for keys thing, and these aren't the most gracious tenants, let's say. Yeah. I pay them. They move into their new beautiful house. They move next door. So now they move next door, next door, with a huge dog, right?
Yeah.
And now, when I finally got the contractors in there, this dog was like terrorizing the contractors.
Oh my God.
Like they have a hole through the fence that they're telling me that the dog is coming in under the fence every time they're going in, the whole bit. The contractors I had at that particular moment, again, like I was just desperate. I just wanted to get started. I was already to a point that I understood that I'm not going to have all the information and all the answers I want before, getting this off the ground. Like I was just going to have to learn as I go. Backtracking a little bit, I was looking for some contractors, and like this whole referral process thing was just a bit tedious and maybe a little difficult. So I think in hindsight, I clearly went along with these contractors without knowing enough information. So then these weren't the greatest contractors either. So the way that we agreed to our budget was because I had a previous contractor go in there and he did the walkthrough and he gave me the numbers. This was about like 60 something or so. And then when these contractors saw it, they were like, they just looked at the budget form. They're like, we'll do the same thing for you for like 40,000 something less. So I'm like, so these guys had never even walked through the house, to their defense.
Yeah.
But they looked at the budget form and they were like, I'll do this for you for, $20,000 less. Like they're overcharging you.
Isn't that crazy though? Like just to look at a list, you don't see the property and you're like, yeah, and they just cut something. Yeah, we can do it for less.
Yeah, and
was that to like win the bid? You think they, like in hindsight now?
Oh,
you
absolutely.
Think it was just to win the bid? It wasn't like,
absolutely,
hey, I can save you some money here. It was more like, no, just work with me.
100%, because at the end of the day, it ended up being the same thing. I ended up spending the same amount of money. Yeah. So, whatever. That's how those contracts got in there. Once they got in there, everything already started going downhill. Like, this isn't what they expected. This house is in way worse condition than we anticipated. That we weren't keeping to our agreement. Now they're all of a sudden asking for more money. It felt like a bad relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Like it just felt like it was a back and forth all the time. It was just a bad vibe overall. At one point, I got into the property July. I got the guys going in there already in August because remember I had the tenant, so I had to get the tenant out. One day in December, I'm just like, the clock is ticking. I need to pay this money back to the hard money lender within like the next 2 months. I jumped on a flight, bro. I told wifey, I'm like, this is like in the night. Like I'm talking about like 7 in the night. And I'm like, I'm going to Ohio tomorrow.
Go to sleep, yeah.
Nah, it was bugging me. I'm like, I'm going, like real New York. Like it was about to be back. I'm like, nah, I'm going tomorrow. She's like, what? I'm going tomorrow. Yeah. Like, what else am I supposed to do? I need to get this money back because, so that in hindsight, that's what I appreciated about the BRRRR specifically, because with other business ventures that I may have pursued, it's easy to dip your feet in the water and then back out.
Right back out. Yeah.
There was no way I could back out. So I had to see this through.
Yeah. If you want to see the money that, I mean, like by getting something off market, and aiming to utilize the BRRRR strategy, you're building equity by the purchase price. Like you're buying it below market, but you can only realize that gain if you follow through with the project. If you actually renovate it, if you actually refinance it, like that's the only way to get it out. So I understand where you're coming from.
Exactly. So if I don't finish the job, how am I going to pay back these lenders? Yeah. The money that went in, again, remember, I thought I had to put in less money for the down payment. So I had to borrow money from elsewhere. So there was other money I had to pass along. How's I gonna? I'm too responsible to not pay this back. What bothered me the most wasn't even my own money. Forget my money. I was like, I need to give everyone their money back.
Yeah, of course.
So whatever. It's like 7 p.m. Like I'm going to Columbus. So whatever. So that's going on at home. First she was trying to hold me back. Then she's like, nah, I hear you. Go. Yeah. So I told you my brother lived out there.
Yeah. Shout out to supportive wifeys out there, man.
100%.
Yeah.
So my brother picks me up at the airport, and I had told you that he was in real estate, right? But I think it was this thing, maybe it was just me unconsciously, where I had brought it up to him in the past. Like I was thinking about doing it, but I wasn't at the point where I was willing to take action.
Right.
So at that particular moment in time, I didn't want to ask him or bring it up again, because I'm thinking in his head, he's probably going to be like, oh, he's just going through another one of his little phases.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I did this on my own, pretty much. We're wifey, of course. And then this situation is going on. So he picks me up at the airport. Boom. All right, so we grab something to eat, whatever, we're catching up. We drive to the house. So the guys aren't there yet. We got there a little early. So there's like on a one-way street, right? And if I'm driving, I guess, towards you, the house is like, I guess, on my left shoulder on that side, right? So as I'm driving this way, I'm seeing the exterior of the house that I had sent them money over to get the house painted, right? Boom. So I'm like, all right. But obviously, I'm not going in yet because I was waiting for these guys. So we keep driving. But he's like, yo, we'll come back later. And as he keeps driving, I look in the rear view mirror. So now I'm seeing the other side of the house that's like almost like connected to the house adjacent.
Yeah.
That whole side of the house was unpainted. That whole exterior was not painted. So they painted like half the house or like a quarter of the house, but I had already sent all the money.
Yeah.
So now I'm hot.
Oh man.
Then I go in the house finally when these guys get there, and now I'm seeing more of the things because they were, we were all verifying that certain parts of the job were getting done through photo and video. Never again. Right? Because people are going to selectively show you what they want you to see. Are they going to be able to
take like a perfect picture in front? You don't see that the side.
Even the smallest things, outlets, handrails.
What do you mean? Like they didn't complete them, or they were just like crooked, or?
Yeah, exactly. Like small things that even somebody who's not in construction should be doing. Not even those things were being done. So at that point, I'm understanding that, okay, you guys were like begging me for money, but if you guys are doing this all across the board, you guys got multiple projects, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like, this is what you're doing. You're asking me for more money to then finish another job, and then that's what's going on here. Yeah. So at that point, I gave them essentially like some sort of ultimatum. Like they had to finish the job within X amount of time. Obviously, they didn't do that. Got them off the job. My brother said, go home. I got you. Yeah. That's basically what he said. I was like, I was willing to stay. I had to do what I had to do. He was like, no, go home. I got you. He took the job over. He found the subcontractors, everything. The job was finished. Finally, Lord knows that this had to happen. Yeah. In my opinion, the house appraised for much more than what we thought it was going to. But that was all due to him. Yeah. Because he had to, a lot of the work that was done was to fix the poor work that the previous contractors had done. They had done
it was like more than a job. It was like a job and a half.
They had done this flooring. They covered vents. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. I had paid money for like AC condensers. They got stolen or stolen.
Yeah,
I don't even know at this point what to believe, but leave that to God. And then the work got finished, and once we were able to do the cash out refi, the 80%, I was able to recuperate most of the money. And then once that was done, I was just like, I got it. I got it. So because all I had to do was look at the mistakes that I did. I was like, these are the things I gotta fix. I got it. Let's go again.
Yeah. Do you know who? You ever heard of Jim Rohn?
No.
You heard of Tony Robbins?
Yeah, Tony Robbins, of course.
So Jim Rohn was like Tony Robbins' mentor. So he was like the Tony Robbins before Tony Robbins. And one of Jim Rohn used to do like these seminars. I remember when I first got into real estate, I needed to like change my mindset and like find a way to be motivated, not just motivated in the moment, but like to rewire my brain and the way it worked, right? So one of the things I used to listen to was Jim Rohn, and he would like be on a stage talking to like entrepreneurs and people who wanted to get into business, and it was almost like stand up, like some of the stuff that he would do, and maybe to a degree Tony Robbins is funny too, because you use examples. So one example that he used was like, he was kind of like, I'm paraphrasing, but he was kind of like telling people like, I encourage you, go out there and find somebody who failed at something, sit them down, invite them for coffee, and be like, here, tell me how you messed it all up. And like everybody starts cracking up, and I'm like, that makes sense, because like, if we can like press replay or whatever, and watch ourselves, like in sports, right? You see something in slow motion, and we're like, oh my God, it's so obvious why that didn't happen, or why that got messed up. But in the moment, you don't see it, because you're moving and you have a goal in mind. So that's dope that like you had like that light bulb. You're like, all right, I've gone through it. It could also be discouraging going through all of that, finding out that this job is half done. People are taking your money and not actually buying the material or doing what they say they got to do. So that's dope, man, that you got to learn from it. What are some of the things that were like the most, I guess, the most noticeable, or maybe even the most exciting to implement? Like maybe some things that you learned from the first deal that you're like, oh, I can't wait to do this again and do it.
I got into a property that needed a lot less work, right? So I worked essentially with a new network. I got a new bank to refi. I had new contractors on the job. My brother was there from day one, and we applied like everything that went well with that first one, and we just rectified everything that didn't go well. And in that one, we ended up making money. So when we did the BRRRR and we finished refining, we were able to stay with some money. So I think it is really just about the network. And once you have some sort of comfortable relationship with specific people that you can trust, then I think that's the exciting part. Like this particular contractor that helped us on the second deal, I actually found them because the property management company that had overseen that first house, he was the one that he was employed by the property management company, right? So every time a little something happened in the house, that was the guy that they were sending over there. So then when I look at this Excel sheet that they had sent me with all the resources, his name was there. So I'm like, this can't be a coincidence. That this guy is on this list and he's employed by a property management company. I have to assume that this guy is good at what he does. And he was great.
Wow.
And it was that much easier. Like there was no sense of like bickering or disagreement, or it was
straightforward, like
easy peasy.
Wow. So personnel change. So changing the contractor, maybe changing the bank as well. Like some of these things made it easier the second time around.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think.
How'd you find that deal? Was that like off market as well? Or
my brother found it. Because now he was there from day one, and now we were collaborating. So I think what ended up happening was that he is really good at a number of things, right? Because he's worked in vast areas in real estate. Once I was able to build this network with the lending company, etc., he was like, oh, essentially like, this is the missing puzzle. He was my missing puzzle. He was my missing puzzle. So we just started working together, and it flowed.
Wow, man. How long has your brother been in Columbus?
Oh, like 20 years at least, I think.
20 years. Wow. Was there ever a moment that he's like, why didn't you just call me from the beginning? Like, did he ever say?
Yeah,
because I know you mentioned like you wanted to wait until you were a certain at a certain point maybe in the process to like talk about it. Like, did that conversation ever come up? Like,
I think when we were in the house, because once he was there and I was just heated, he was the one doing a lot of the talking. He was like, this is wrong, you guys should have done this, you guys should have done that. And he's kind of like, why aren't you just and I think it was, because of what I told you. I'm just kind of like, I got to figure this out on my own. Whatever. But yeah, if it wasn't for him, I probably would have been in some deep shit.
What made you, like, I know you were doing like a lot of like research just to get started and things like that. Is there anything in particular that made you like gravitate towards Columbus? Because I know like there's different things that they talk about, like tech is blowing up in Columbus as well, and there's like different industries that are like leaving their footprint there or expanding their footprint there. Maybe what was there anything in particular that like grabbed you when it came to Columbus?
Yeah, I think a few things. I think affordability. I think cash flow and appreciation. I think vacancy rates. Properties tend to get occupied pretty quickly. Tenant laws are favorable. So all those things, and then I'm like reading on Bigger Pockets what other people are saying and stuff, and it just seemed like a good fit.
Yeah, there's always like jokes on Bigger Pockets too. Like somebody will just generally say, hey, I'm from Texas, or I'm from California, or I'm from New York. Yeah. And I'm thinking about investing out of state. And then it's like 100 people from Columbus are like, well, here's what you should know. Columbus, year over year, values are up 11% and rents are up. Like they kind of like jump into the forums, but it has to be for a reason. I mean, people keep investing there. So it's good to see that you're seeing that side. Would you ever move out there or no?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm a New Yorker, man.
Today is like 20 degrees, cold. It feels like it's colder.
It gets colder.
And that's like that's like springtime in Ohio. Like over there is crazy. I can't.
No. I think I like what I'm doing here because I think salaries and things of that nature are typically higher in New York. If you're gonna compare just position to position, I take the money I'm making here and I can stretch it over there. Yeah. So
let me ask you. So like, deal 1 and deal 2, like you're a couple deals in. Are you already starting at that point to think about how that retirement age is changing, or your viewpoint of retirement is changing? Because like you mentioned, you get into your job, you're in your early 20s, and I did the same thing when I started working for the city of New York. I was working in the hospitals. Yeah. And I remember the day where they told us what tier retirement we were. And the tier that I was in was 25-55. So you got to work 25 years and you have to reach 55 years of age. So when I did the math, I was like 22 or whatever. I did the math and I'm like, I'm not going to work 25 years. I'm actually going to work 31 years here until I reach retirement age. I think I was 24 maybe. Yeah. So I needed to work 31 years to hit 55. And I'm like, no way. Like I thought it was like a scary movie in a way, right? So for you, looking at retirement in that way early on when you started the job, you're like, oh, I can't do this. Did you already start to like see the light at the end of the tunnel after these first 2 deals? You're like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna have to work there for.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think at this point, so 23 got into that first one, and we were able to do the cash out refi in 24. Then we got into the second one in 24, and then we finished that one, did the cash out refi for that one in 25, and then I started the third one and finished the third one in 25. So it's all about like figuring out how to expedite the process essentially. So that's the process I'm in now. Is more like, all right, so how can I scale? How can I do multiple of these at the same time? How can I do bigger units, etc.? But even on a small scale, like if I do 1 or 2 of these every year for the next 8 years, 10 years, there's going to be a source of income there with appreciation, the cash flow, the tax advantages and all that there's no way I can stay there till I'm 62. Impossible.
Yeah. That's dope, man. Do you get into any conversations with people? Like you said, like you love the people that you work with. You just can't picture yourself being there for all that time. Do you ever find yourself getting into conversations with whether it's people at work or people in different places where you find yourself like opening that door for other people the way it was like open for you?
Yeah, earlier today,
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my good friends there, and he was just, telling me about how many hours he was working, et cetera. And I was like, if you lower those expenses and you work in that many hours, you're gonna stay with a decent chunk.
Yeah.
That's when you got to put it into something. You got to put it into assets, whatever that may be, whether it's real estate, mutual funds, whatever, because that's the only way you're gonna get out the rat race. For the record, I know we spoke about Rich Dad Poor Dad when we met the first time around. Have you played that game?
The Cashflow Quadrant? No, I never have.
You got to play that game.
Yeah.
We were playing that over the Christmas break. It was myself, wifey, her sister, her brother-in-law, and her niece, and we were there for like 5 hours, bro. Her brother.
Oh my God, man.
Because the point of the game is like you pick up a card at random that has an occupation. The occupation has expenses, how much money you make, right? And the idea is you need to make enough investments to get enough passive income to cover your expenses.
Okay.
You need enough passive income to cover your expenses. Once you start playing, you start realizing how challenging it is. Yeah. It's like, oh, you roll the dice. Oh, I just got a baby. So now that's another expense.
Oh,
you roll the dice. Oh, I just got a divorce. Oh, you roll the
yeah.
dice. Oh, I just got a tax audit. And it's like, but it's real life.
It's real life, yeah.
So it's like, damn.
Curveballs, man.
And then you just, you have people thinking differently. Even with the kids at work, there's actually one for kids. That's
I heard that was like one of the best. I don't know if it's like one of the best selling because there's like a group of different games and products that he sells. But I heard the kids one is like one of the most.
I started an
ones.
entrepreneur club in my school, a financial literacy club with elementary school kids.
That's
we were doing it last year.
Yeah. So what you're breaking like you have like a curriculum or something for them?
Well, I got the book for them.
Okay.
So they all read the book, the ones that were in the club,
Nice.
and then we would play the game, right? Which, they started falling in love with the game. Like they would look at now expenses that they would think is fun. They're like no, like that's a doodad. That's a liability. And it's like one of them is going over to their mom, like, why are you going here? When are you gonna open up a business? And it's like now she's coming over to me. She's like, look at what you're doing. I'm like, this is it.
Good. Yeah. That's when it switches. Yeah.
Yeah, and even the year prior, some of the kids like started their own business in the school. Like we had them like selling,
like lemonade stand kind of thing.
Like they were they were like taking beads and making bracelets, things like that.
Oh wow, look at that, bro. And do you see it where it's like, I mean, like it's a club, so I'm guessing like all of the kids that are in the club have like similar interests. But do you see that it's like a certain percentage of like the school? Because think about what you said before about the rat race, right? There's always like these statistics about, 90 whatever % of people are living paycheck to paycheck, right? The other percentage of people are not living that way. So do you see like a similar dynamic where it's like, whatever, let's call it 10% of the kids in the school like gravitate towards this idea of like building wealth, and then the other ones are just like, yeah, I'm gonna get money and spend it on things, spend it on candy or whatever.
That'd be interesting because the thing is, in our school, we try to have a number of clubs, which we promote a lot of student agency, so the students get to really like voice what they want in the school, right? So there's a number of clubs, and we also try to cap it, right? So it's not like the clubs are like, like 30 something children. We usually cap it to like 10 max, maybe 12 or something like that. Yeah. So it'd be interesting. Now I kind of want to go back and see like if everyone was eligible for this, how many of you guys would want to do it? Yeah. Because I definitely had kids that they were like I want to join, and I'm like,
That's refreshing though to hear, because I think like the old man in me like sometimes worries about the next generation, not just my kids, but just like in general, like, oh man, I hope kids are like thinking about their future. And then like every once in a while I'll get into conversations like this where I'm like, man, that's dope to hear, that kids are thinking about it. I met this guy I went to college with. I actually rented out a space that he has in the Bronx, and I rented it out for a team meeting. And when I didn't know it was him until I get to the door. I'm like, yeah, I'm outside. He goes to meet me there, and he's like, Abel? I'm like, get out of here. I know the guy. He runs like a chess club throughout like multiple like public schools throughout the city. I'm like, yo, chess. I just started playing chess maybe 10 years ago.
He might be in my school.
Abdul, tall guy.
Project Pawn.
Project Pawn. That's so crazy.
I got him in my school.
Shout out to Abdul, man.
Shout out to Abdul.
Yeah. So when like I walked up, I'm like, oh wow. And then the name to me was catchy. So while I'm in the space, I'm setting up for the meeting, I'm looking around. I'm like, this is dope, man. Like I just started playing chess. Maybe 10 years ago, I learned how to play chess, and I love it. I'm not that good, but I love it. But I also love the idea of kids that like would think, like take their of course, be kids and enjoy your time, but also take your future seriously. But wow, what a small world, man. That's
Tuesdays
crazy.
and Thursdays, 1 o'clock. We're running it in my school, 100%. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. But it's dope that like you're doing something similar. Like it's one thing for us to, like something that we hear all the time is like what we get in this world, like we're not going to leave with it. We're not going to be buried with all of it. And like sometimes like success and impact is measured by like how you spread that, how you spread your knowledge and how you give back. And it's so cool that like you guys are doing it under the same roof too, man. That's dope. Small world, man.
Facts, man. That's dope.
Yeah, man. So now that you're at this point, like now you're getting, now you just finished your third refi.
Yeah.
I guess like now looking back, right? You're somebody in a high price point area like New York, and you decided to take this route because it's practical. It allows you to like build up your portfolio. What's next for you? Are you looking for like more units, like under one door in the Midwest? Is that something that?
So I originally went into this because I was thinking of the cash flow, right? I was thinking of the cash flow, one, and two, I was thinking about how can I get in with as little capital as possible. The cash flow thing hasn't paid out to this point so much because of the interest rates, right? But that's because the first two properties I did were single family homes. The second one, which we just recently finished, is a duplex, right? So I understand that now if I want cash flow, I have to get into properties with more units, right? But the reason I don't regret that is because I wanted to start with as little risk as possible. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me take, the smallest house and let's see what happens there. So I definitely want to get into that and then come full circle to the original conversation that we were having about the Airbnb. The same concept, like the idea, like there was so much to learn from that. I feel like I can reapply that. So I feel like I'm doing what I need to do with the real estate to, I guess, check the box long term. But I'm looking to make some cash flow now. So I want to get into like multifamilies and I want to start the Airbnb thing again.
That's cool. Are you managing? Are you self-managing the properties? Is your brother managing the tenants and all of that? Do you have any like involvement in that, or are you just kind of like dealing with him whenever an issue comes up?
Yeah, no.
Your brother's the man, bro. There are no issues with your brother. Right?
This guy, bro. This guy. Yeah, no. I mean, anytime something comes up, like he always like loops me in or whatever. So I'm always abreast as to like what's going on. But other than that, he's the one that's pretty much like boots on the ground.
What's the craziest thing that's happened, whether it's with tenants or whether it's with the renovations? What's like the thing that like you look back and like you said it before, like now you can kind of laugh at stuff, but like what's been like the biggest or like craziest surprise? And
I don't know if it's anything that anyone else hasn't heard, but we definitely had squatters in the house. As the property was getting fixed, like it got vandalized a number of times. I got stuff stolen. Somebody like tried to kick the door down. Oh, there was a goat. We found a goat in the house.
That's Andy's favorite. Andy's
oh yeah,
Andy's a Chivo lover, man. You should have brought it back over here.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
I knew.
Wait, how did you find out? Like a neighbor?
Yeah, apparently, I don't know what they were doing. They had a Chivo as a pet, and the pet crossed over the fence, and the contractors called me. They're like, "Yo, there's a goat in your house." So I had a goat in there.
Yeah.
Maybe something else will come up. And so I remember once I had like somebody from pest control over at the house because these guys were telling me they said the house was so bad they had to go in there with hazmat suits. Like, man, the smell was that bad.
Yeah.
And they sent me some pretty disgusting pictures. I won't lie. So after they did a little bit of the cleanup, they were like, we need somebody to come in here like deep clean. Like this is still like, even though we clean, like there's still like a smell in here, right?
Oh, man.
Okay. So then somebody from pest control goes over to the house, and he's walking in there, and I guess this guy goes into houses that look disgusting all the time, I'm sure. So I'm sure his tolerance is much higher.
Yeah.
So he's walking in there. He's like, oh, like, this house isn't that bad. Everything looks all right. Yeah. And I'm on the phone with this guy, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like, that sounds good. And then at some point, I guess he opened up a cabinet, and a big rat jumped on him. He's like, oh.
No. It jumped on him?
Yeah, or like, I don't know if it jumped on him or jumped over his shoulder.
Oh,
he's like, I just had a big old rat jump over me. And then he was like, oh, no, yes, we need to do something. So, yeah, those are the ones that definitely come to mind right now.
Yeah. I mean, some of them you could prepare for, I feel like, but some of these things is just...
No.
There's always going to be something, man.
No, it was hard to hold the laugh at that moment, but...
Going back to, like, you know, the idea of, like, leaving an impact and all of that stuff,
mm-hmm.
Have you had any, like, children in the school that are playing the game and they start to, like, really get interested in real estate specifically? Like, has that happened? Or maybe outside of school? Like, have you ever found yourself, like, talking to people that are, like, younger than you would expect would be interested in real estate?
I think probably more people my age, but I think more specifically, people are interested in this whole BRRRR thing, right? Because a lot of people that go into it, either they house hack, or they have enough money where, you know, they can actually put a decent size
rental,
decent size down payment. But when they hear, like, you know, little to no money down and you don't even live there, they're like, wait, what? Like, how are you doing this? So every time I have those conversations, when you kind of like see like the light bulb go off, with the kids specifically, I don't know if it's conversations around real estate, so to speak. I mean, these are like 9, 10-year-olds, but you know, they get the concept, because as we're going through the games and we're picking up the cards and stuff, like, I'm like, you know, pointing outside to the building across the street. I'm like, you see that building right there? Yeah. Somebody owns that building. Yeah. And there's like 32 units in there. And everyone is paying, you know, $1,500. Now do the math. Yeah. Their mortgage is this much. They're paying this much. How much money are they keeping a month? And they're kind of like,
oh, wow. Yeah. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
What would you say separates people who find success in real estate from, let's say, people that just never get started? I'm stealing that from Bigger Pockets. I know I've definitely heard them say something like that. But you're just making me think, because you've spoken to so many people about it, seems, both before you started your journey, while you've been in it, and now, like, you're a seasoned veteran. Once you find a goat in a house, like, you're a seasoned veteran. So, like, what do you think, I guess for, like, the audience, right? Like, what do you think separates people from, separates people who, like, find success or, like, just get started compared to, like, people that will just read and research forever?
I hate this answer, honestly, because I think I'm such a practical person that a few years ago, maybe before I started, I always wanted something actionable, like something tangible, like you need to do this or you need to do that. And this is the most cliche answer I can give you, but it's the truth. It's your mindset. That's really what it is. Are you willing to fail forward? Are you willing to take a risk, knowing that everything isn't going to turn out all right, and learn as you go, build the tracks as you go? Yeah. If you're not willing to do that, then I think that's a moment of reflection. Yeah. Right? I think I recently read this thing on, I don't know if you've heard of the term ikigai. It's the Japanese concept of, like, finding purpose in your life.
Yeah, IKI. Yeah, and I know what it is, like 6 different.
Yeah, there you go.
And then there's like the ultimate, like, Venn diagram, right?
Yep. It's the Venn diagram is I think is do what you love, what do you love, what do you get paid for, what are you good at? Yeah. And I'm forgetting the last one, but they all get together and form this ikigai, right? But in that book, they were speaking about negative visualization. So the idea that you imagine the worst possible outcome, the worst thing that can happen. And if you can imagine the worst possible outcome and at the same time be at peace with that, where it brings no nervous energy, no anxious feelings, no feelings of fear or anything like that, then it's like,
you've made it.
Like, what else is there to do?
Yeah.
Like, just go for it.
Yeah.
But if you can envision that, whatever that event is or that situation, and you're still feeling a sense of anxiety, a sense of worry, whatever the case is, then that's where you have to, I guess, do a bit of reflection and digging and figuring out like where is that coming from.
Yeah. So I found the diagram.
Yeah, there you go.
I remember I went over this like a few times. I don't know if it was like during trainings or what, but I became so fascinated by it because it talks about what's your mission, what's your passion, what's your profession, and what's your vocation. And then in the middle is ikigai. So that's something that satisfies everything. So it's what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. So when you're good at something and you love it, that's your passion. When you're good at something and you can be paid for it, that's your profession. When you can be paid for something and it's something that the world needs, that's your vocation. And when it's something that you love and the world needs it, it's your mission. And it's crazy because you were just talking about, I think you were talking about the person that you were working with in Ohio. He retired and moved to India, and like,
yeah,
he's fulfilling like his life's mission in a way, like that's deep, man. That's deep, bro. Is there anything I didn't get to ask you that you wanted to talk about?
I think the one thing that I was really thinking about as I was walking over here that I wanted to voice, because I think when I would run into these videos, I felt like I had a misconception of what the BRRRR was, was the idea that you don't need any money to BRRRR. So for those that think that you don't need any money, that's not exactly true, right? Because one, obviously, just to get the ball rolling, you need to pay for the down payment and the closing. You have to pay every month for the financing of the loan. And then where I made the biggest mistake, which I'm glad you brought that up, was that the hard money lender covers the rehab, right? So you have X amount in extra to the rehab. I was under the impression like I was going to have access to that money as the job went on, which I never hear anybody talk about, right?
Okay.
Like, oh, okay, this budget is $45,000. So as the contractor goes asking me for material and labor, I take it out of that pot and I go pay him, which is not how it works. At least not how it works in my experience. The way it works is you go paying for the job with your own money, and then they send an inspector to go see the house, and then once they can check off that certain things were done, the drywall, the flooring, etc., then they reimburse you for the money that's in the budget form, right? That was for that particular work. So at the end of it all, if you stick to the budget form and you get an appraisal that 80% of it, if you do one of these portfolio loans or 75% DSCR covers everything that you got in the deal, then you come out of it with no money in. No, but it's not like you don't need your own money.
It's not like you're sitting on the couch, your bank account is dried up, and you're like, oh, I got an idea. I can make money with somebody else's money.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like a lot of these like so-called gurus like sell you.
It looks good on a poster. It looks good on an advertisement online. It looks good on a website. Like, hey, don't use your money. Use Oscar's money. Use Andy's money or whatever. Like, just come invest with us. You don't have to bring your wallet. But from what you're saying, you need the down payment. You need the closing costs. You need to be prepared to pay like monthly interest payments. You need to be prepared to pay the construction upfront and then get reimbursed once a certain percentage, let's say, of the scope of work is completed.
Exactly.
Once certain items from the checkpoint. That's a huge takeaway.
Yeah. So then at the end of it all, if that 80% or 75%, whatever, ends up being more than what you put into it, then you get to pocket something. Right? Yeah. Or if you just break even, you break even. If it's less than what you put into it, then you have to leave money in the deal. But, in order for you to leave zero money in the deal, like the job has to go well. And I don't know if that's gonna hit home for somebody who's listening to this, but I was definitely confused by that up until I got it going, because once I got the keys for the first house and I'm like, I'm ready to get the ball rolling, and they're like, no, that's not how it works. You gotta. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I gotta come up. I had already messed up with the misunderstanding of the property value plus the rehab and how much they were gonna cover in the loan. So I had to come up with extra money there, and I had to come up with more money to pay for the job.
Contractors now.
which I didn't know
Yeah.
up until that point. So
That's another conversation right there. How do you even make that happen? Like you've already accounted for what you're gonna invest, and now like just when you think like, all right, now I can kind of sit back and see the process through, it's like, no, I got to go out and raise more money. But it's kind of cool in a way because you were talking about scaling, right? And one of the things that people need, aside from deal flow, is also the capital. So it doesn't sound like it happened on your terms as far as like learning how to raise capital, but you have that experience, and that's kind of cool because you have that experience. You definitely have the boots on the ground experience. Your brother's been a huge help, but you've completed multiple projects, and now, who knows, man? A year from now, we could be talking about a 20 unit or a 10 unit that you found
100%.
that you raised money for, and
I think that's the huge takeaway is the shifting of the mindset. Like, I know, again, myself listening to this a few years ago, I would have heard this, I probably would have rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, here we go again with the mindset thing. Yeah. But it's true. I mean, to that point, that whole idea of, coming up with more capital, once I thought, like I had all the money ready, I had to go borrow money. I'm somebody that grew up, I hate borrowing money. I do not like borrowing money. Yeah. I don't like owing anyone anything. Yeah. But once you start understanding, how the business works, even people with money end up borrowing money. If you have $100,000 that you could put into one property, you could take that same $100,000 in a BRRRR and put that into 4 properties at the same time. So it's just like, all right, there's this whole rich dad, poor dad thing. I'm here with a poor man's mentality. Yeah. To the point that the second and third deal, I ended up making money once we refied. Like, I can pay these people back for that. Like, you did me the solid, here, I got you. Yeah. So it's like, why wouldn't I?
You brought up, my last question is this. You brought up the mindset shift. You brought up a couple of things that have kind of helped you with your mindset shift and also helped you think about the business of real estate in a different way, right? So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I talked about Jim Rohn. You mentioned Fail Forward, which kind of struck a chord with me. There was like I still have it, but like I have a YouTube playlist of like stuff that I would listen to in the morning that'll just kind of shift wherever my mind might have been yesterday or however I woke up. It had this ability to shift my mindset. And one of them was like a video called Fail Forward, I think. It was with Denzel Washington. He was giving like a commencement speech or whatever. And like some of these things like really helped shift my mind. What's something that you can think of that somebody can do, or something that somebody can read, or like I know you mentioned like the games and stuff. Is there anything else that you can think of that would be helpful for somebody who's trying to like shift their mindset?
Start working towards action over perfection. Like, doing more is better than doing less that comes out perfect, essentially. Like, every mistake you make is one stepping stone closer to your goal, right? The whole like paralysis from analysis thing, if you're just trying to get it perfect, there's certain things like this whole real estate game, like there's no way you're gonna perfect that. And then is this learned helplessness, essentially, because you're training your mind to think like you're actually doing something and you're being productive, but all you're doing yourself is feeding yourself information and doing nothing with it. Yeah. Like, the more successful people are the ones who are actually doing things rather than being in their head all the time, which I think to the whole point of like the education system and things like that, like the people, there's different definitions for success. Different people have different definitions, but in my personal opinion, like the people who are most successful are the people who take action, right? Because you find that a lot of people are just constantly like reading books or reading up on articles and things like that.
Ideas.
Yeah, but never fulfill them. So I just say, go out there. I actually heard this recently in a video. Somebody was talking about a coaching session they had, and the coach told them, like, go out and get 5 no's. Go out and get rejected. Yeah. Right? Do things like that. If you're going to make a decision, right, don't wait to have, unless there's like do or die, but don't wait to have all the information. Like, once you have 70% of the information, just go and do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait.
The rest will be, it's like what is it, like building the plane on the parachute on the way down, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just about that. It's about taking action, moving, kinetic energy.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I like that. And it builds like the muscle memory as well. Like you're getting used to, even if you're like not succeeding, you're getting used to like, having the reps, let's say, right? So that's powerful stuff, man.
You heard of Joe Dispenza?
Sounds familiar.
You said earlier you were talking about the rewiring of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy in particular, I always heard that as well. The whole idea of rewiring your brain. And it seemed like something, again, that was like cliche to me. Like, oh, just like, you step out of your house and say like you're going to have a good day or something like that. But you're not really feeling it. But that's like you're manifesting it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
He speaks about the actual science behind it. Like why practicing gratitude and doing things like that actually work. So if you're like some sort of like neuroscience geek and you like all that kind of brainiac stuff, go listen to Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza. Sounds so familiar because I used I used to use this journal called the Best Self Journal, and it had like a couple of different components to it. So every journal I would ever use was just blank pages with the date at the top, or I would have to write in the date at the top, and that's it. And then I would have to think about what to write. So what was appealing to me with this journal, and I used it for a long time. It's a quarterly journal, so it's like enough pages for 3 months. And the way every page starts is like it'll give you like 5 blank lines, but it'll say, what are you grateful for? And like you'll start writing about it. And then it'll say something like, what's your main goal for today? And then what are your targets? Like what do you need to do to hit that goal? And then at the bottom it'll say something like, what would make today a great day? And what I found was like by like forcing myself to say things that I'm grateful for, I would be challenged to find new things, like different things every day. So for example, and some of the things are easy to overlook, like heat in this building. I'm grateful for that. It's freezing outside,
Yep.
Whatever it is, comfortable shoes, right? Like sometimes we might look at the fact that the train is far and we got to walk far. But we could be grateful we got comfortable shoes to help us get there, or whatever. So I was not always like that. Like I feel like sometimes temporary defeat would like really mess with me. But it was like building a muscle over time, like finding things to be grateful for. You're putting that out there, and then I don't know how to explain it other than like the law of attraction, like that movie, The Secret. Like even that, like I can't summarize that, but I understand it. Like I know what it means, and I believe in that stuff.
100%. No, it's called negativity bias, right? The idea that us as human beings, we walk around and you're naturally conditioned to look for the negative. So then there's this concept, I'm not sure if you heard of it, of neuroplasticity. Have you heard of this? Like the idea that your mind is plastic. So you have to consciously like feed your mind thoughts in order to rewire your brain, right?
That's like where affirmations come in. And
exactly.
Stuff like
that. So the more that you speak positively out into the universe, now you're going to see the positive. And then you're going to feel positive. And then your personality becomes your personal reality.
Yeah.
That's Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's fire, though. That's fire, man.
That's what it is, yeah.
Well, listen, man, from now until the next one, I'm looking forward to talking about the other projects, the other stuff you got going on. But I guess a big takeaway from this is like take action, have that positive mindset so that whatever it is that comes your way is just like a temporary obstacle rather than like a failure that's going to knock you down and keep you down. But 100%. I appreciate your time, man.
My brother.
Thank you, brother. All right.